Right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening on this evening of the 27th of June, 2022. 27th of June, 2022. As I've said, we are still learning how to use this technology with God on our side. We will get there. We will get there. Slowly but surely we will get there. Definitely. We do trust God on these things. We do trust God on these things. Gentlemen, tonight we're going to discuss a very sensitive topic. It's a very sensitive issue tonight that we're going to be discussing. Please let us keep in our prayers about this one, because I'm telling you, this is one of those challenging topics. One of those challenging topics. So as we are getting ready, I really want us to embrace ourselves for a very sensitive topic. Very sensitive topic tonight. We are going to be discussing a very sensitive topic tonight. So please, wherever you are, join us. I've also tonight have started a live feed, a live broadcast on Instagram, Umalusi, the real Umalusi, the real _ Umalusi on Instagram, the real _ Umalusi on Instagram. Please join us. Those of you who are able to join us, please feel free to join us. He says Tebeni, yes, as they say in Isizu. He says Tebeni. Let us all join this evening. Let us join this evening. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to post them on the comment section. I will do my best to acknowledge them and respond to them. If you have any questions, please feel free to just post them on the comment section. I will do my best to acknowledge and respond to them, all right? So let's try and get ready. Let's get ready. Let us get ready to reflect this evening. As I've said, we want to be discussing a very sensitive issue this evening. I am telling you, this issue we're going to be discussing tonight is a very sensitive one, and I hope we can all do it with respect with each other. If you post a comment, please just be respectful. Welcome, Pastor Shez. Welcome, Pastor Shez. Welcome. Yes, we are having a men for men only show this evening. We'll be discussing sensitive issues. And also, please feel free, my sisters, those of you who may not have joined before, will be joining for the first time. Feel free to join. It's not a problem. It's for men only. Yes, that's the name of the show, but we welcome everyone to join us this evening. So we really appreciate your comments, and feel free to comment as well, because the topic we are going to discuss tonight is a very sensitive one. It's very sensitive, and the more comments, the merrier. As I've said, it's a sensitive issue. Let us see how we can handle it with God's help. Look, let's get our prelude. Why is this thing so silent? Why am I not getting my sound? What did I do? You see now technology, we learn these things. There we go. All right, comment only. So every Monday at 7 p.m. comment only show where we talk about men. Please join us. If you missed last Sunday, please know that last Sunday we had a good time. It was a wonderful time that we had last Monday. We had my brother. Let me see here. I need to connect my additional audio device. YouTube folks, in case I've lost you on audio, just let me know. I wouldn't like to run my mouth here and only Instagram is benefiting. Let me know if you have lost each other, and then I will try and reconnect again. Like I've said, every Monday, 7:30 for men only show. What we discuss here, we take callers. Yes, I'm a pastor, I'm a reverend, but I come to this show as a man. I come to this show as a man, and I'm expecting everyone, put away your titles. Put away your titles. This is not about being a pastor, CEO, principal, school principal. This is not about being a coach of a cricket club, rugby club, soccer club, doesn't matter, or being a counselor, MEC, minister, it doesn't matter. Here we talk about the issues that affect men, As we know, a lot of men are struggling out there. A lot of men are struggling with so many issues. That is why we decided to have this show every Monday, where we can speak. Most of the views that will be shared here, they are my views, and the views of the guests are also respected. But please understand something, that before we started this show, which was last month, we had tried to do a brief survey. We consulted a few men, and we got some ideas. And this show is based on what a lot of men out there, they have been suggesting, and some of the things so sensitive that some of my brothers, they don't mind discussing them with me, but they wouldn't be comfortable being interviewed here. So some of the things that might sound like I'm just rambling, I'm having a monologue, but please know that these issues, they come from the discussions with men themselves. I'm just presenting them. This month, the month of June, we have been focusing on young men because it's the youth month. So tonight is the last episode on focusing on young men, boys and young men. Starting next month or next week, the whole month of July, we'll be focusing on men and mental health issues for men. Because as men, we really need to take care of our mental state. As DMX once said, now I'm revealing my age, how old I am. As DMX once said, you make me go there and lose my mind, up in here. So yes, there are so many things that make us men lose our mind. And then as a result, we end up finding solace and comfort in things that are not really constructive, in things that are not really building us up. And speaking of which, a sad thing happened in the history of our country. We have heard of massacre before, where people will be massacred. Young people being massacred in June 16 for standing up to fight for the rights, standing up against injustice, standing up against oppressive system called apartheid. It is a shame and an embarrassment that in the month of June in 2022, we have a massacre of young people not being massacred by an oppressive state or for a justice cause, but being massacred or slaughtered in the altar of entertainment and fun. If this is not a problem for you, I don't know what would be a problem, man. I mean, this is, as a parent, as a leader, as a pastor, I don't know, man. I don't know. This for me, it's like a spear that, pierces through. I was thinking, when we grew up as young people, a lot of us, we went through a lot of challenges. We went through a lot of challenges. That is why we gave our parents a hard time. I must tell you, we gave our parents a hard time. But I couldn't help but remember that, and a lot of people grew up with me. They will testify to this. When we grew up, some of us at the age of 14, we were already running around, being absent at night and coming maybe back home in the early hours of the morning. But do you know what we were doing at night? We were organizing. We were running political education. We were printing pamphlets, printing placards. We were using night vigils at funerals to spread political education. We were organizing cleaning campaigns. There was a time when, in the township where I grew up, when the streets were not cleaned, there was grass growing on the roads, in the middle of the street, the weeds growing, drains were blocked, We will, during winter school holidays, we will organize cleaning campaigns. I know this might sound like some fancy bourgeois thing. It wasn't. Actually, we will get beaten up by police and arrested for cleaning the streets. We would get arrested, get beaten up with shambles for cleaning the streets in the townships. So yes, we did give our parents a hard time. I remember when I grew up, how my parents, my grandparents, because I was raised by grandparents, which is another issue that we'll be touching on this evening. And I will come home early hours in the morning, and sometimes, as I approach our home, I will see my grandfather standing outside, looking out for me, waiting for me to come back home. And I could see how it broke, how it will break his heart that here is a grandson who was roaming around, but he was more worried that, what if something happens to me? But, I was very disturbed that the young people between the ages of 14 and 21 or 22 that died, they had gone to have fun. And that fun, it included drinking of alcohol. It included unsupervised indulging on alcohol and possible substance abuse, right? And one of the articles that I saw on the newspapers, apparently one of the victims' father said he got worried in the morning when her 14-year-old daughter was not home, did not come home as usual and knock in the early hours of the morning. So it got me thinking, this is not even an adult, this is a child, 14 years old. In this family, it is a norm that she'll come back home in the morning. Now, those of you who saw this article on Facebook and other social media, you might have heard some people commenting about it in a negative way, criticizing the parents. But it got me thinking, that, I kind of think before we judge, we may want to take time, one, to sympathize with the deceased, because, as Africans, you never speak ill of the deceased. That's number one. Number two, you don't rub the salt on the wounds when somebody has lost their loved ones. That's number two. Number three, we don't know all the details of what has happened, because even now, as we are having this conversation, it is based on general analysis of our situation as we find ourselves in 2022. That, these challenges of parenting and children, not being able raised properly in a way that is desirable. It can no longer be one, really, the failure to provide good parenting cannot be blamed on parents only. As some of the comments on social media, you might have seen some people, they were saying, yeah, the government must take a blame because the government took the parents' authority over children away from the parents and gave children more rights. Now the parents can exercise corporal punishment on their children if the children have erred or made mistakes, to rein them in, which might be true. And then on the other hand, I do know that the government, because I've had this debate even around the distribution of condoms to the young learners. The government said we will not be distributing condoms if the parents were doing their job, because then there will be no need. If the children were not getting pregnant, then there will be no need to run sex education that includes condoms. So hence, I said earlier, the time for blaming each other, I think it's a waste of time. To try and blame each other, blame the government, blame the parents, I think it's not going to help us, especially during this sensitive time when the parents are still dealing with the pain of losing their children, and when the parents are still preparing to lay their children to rest. I do not think it's going to help us. But I want us this evening to reflect on how a boy child, because this is a men's show. It's for men's show every Monday at 7:30. It's for men only. So we want to be focusing on a boy child. That doesn't mean we are neglecting the girl child. No, we are not neglecting the girl child, but this evening we're going to be focusing on the boy child, right? Because it's for men only show. It is disturbing, as we also mentioned last week, that it seems like the boys are becoming more and more of an endangered species. I know some people might find it difficult to believe. But if you think about the fact that the majority of school kids who drop out from school are boys, if you think about the fact that the majority of children who have fallen prey on drug addiction are boys. Yes, we do now see girls, but the majority are boys. If you think about the fact that seems like a lot of young people who are spending time in shebeens, taverns, nightclubs, on weekends, having fun, not that there's anything wrong with having fun, it seems like boys. And the majority of, a lot of people are getting unemployed is mainly also males. Now, it seems like we are going to have a challenge as a nation where we do not have the next generation of males that can be able to contribute in our society in a meaningful way. The number of boy child who should become men in the future, and responsible men, God-fearing men, and once again, even though this show is for everybody, but I'm a Christian, so a lot of my views are influenced by Christian teaching. So I'm a Christian, so yes, I do believe in God. I'm not an atheist. I believe in God, and I do believe that God, Allah, Dewo, Dios, uNkulunkulu, Modimo, whatever name you use, God is important in our lives. I can't look at life in any different way except from a Christian perspective. So it does seem like, my ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to have a problem. We are having a problem of not preparing the next generation properly. Some people might say that it's not going to be easy to deal with this issue because of class and maybe even xenophobia. So we have already ruled out the issue of the blaming game, where we start blaming parents and parents blaming government. The second issue that I think we need to tick off and not get stuck on it is going to be the issue of racism. That, we are not going to be able to resolve this issue if we look at it as a black problem or a white problem. No, it's a black and white problem. The children who are getting involved in this, who get hooked in this so-called entertainment, socializing, ubumnand, which includes not necessarily only based on drugs, but it includes drugs and alcohol, substance abuse and drug abuse. It's the children who fall prey in this demonic destructive situation is not only Black children, but it's also white children as well. So both Black and white, we are all involved. We are all affected by this pandemic. Thirdly, the issue of xenophobia. A lot of people like to blame the foreigners, they're selling drugs on our children. I grew up in a township. One of our political campaign in my township where I grew up was to stand up against drug dealers in our township. We literally fought drug dealers, literally. We were even attacked by gangsters because we were political activists and we were trying to stop drugs being distributed in our township. And that was, in the 80s. Yeah, I know I'm that old. Yeah. So it was in the 80s. Yeah. It was in the 80s. We were trying to protect our neighborhoods from drug dealers. And so there were no foreigners by then who were selling drugs, men drugs in the townships. No, they were not. It was South Africans. Just South Africans. So I think, yes, I'm not saying there are no foreigners who are selling drugs in this country. Yes, there are, and anyone who's selling drugs must be held accountable for what they do. But what I'm saying is we need to stop blaming foreigners for the things that are going wrong in our homes, in our communities. Yes, they may be contributing, but we also have a role. We must take responsibility. I think any process towards healing begins by acknowledging your situation and taking responsibility upon yourself. Right. The next thing that I want us to get rid of is classism. Someone might say, okay, we hear you, Reverend Daz. It's not a government problem. It's not a racist problem. It's not a xenophobic problem. But there's also class problem. This is a problem for the poor. No, it's not the problem for the poor. Even children from wealthy families, if you go to certain places in whether you're in Gauteng or Cape Town or here in KwaZulu-Natal, there are places like Mhlanga areas and other places where you will find children who come from wealthy families having fun, drinking themselves until they are drunk, and unfortunately, sometimes even getting behind the wheels and driving wherever they need to go unsupervised. And some of them, most of them are young adults. But now we see that this is now overspilling to the younger ones. Now, when you hear that the 14-year-old, the youngest victims of this Ubumnandi massacre that took place was 14 years old, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what is going on. So it's not class, it's not a xenophobia thing, it's not racism, and it's definitely, we can't keep on blaming the government or the government blaming parents. Now, we have a problem. That, hence, we have been saying earlier, we have a problem. We have a problem. We have a problem. God knows we have a problem. We have a problem. Anyone who's saying we do not have a problem as a country, as a nation, we have a problem. We have a problem. It's a serious problem. You cannot distance yourself. I don't care who you are. We have a problem. You can't be a pastor. There are pastors who've got children who are on drugs. We have a problem. You can't be a rich multimillionaire. We have multimillionaires who've got children who are in and out of rehabs. We have a problem. I don't care whether you are a government influential official. We've got government officials who are struggling with these parental issues because children, they don't seem to be growing the way they desire. We have a problem. I don't care. You might be even a psychologist and a family therapist. But some of the therapists and psychologists, they also have problems with their children. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it's everybody's problem. Simply because your child is still behaving well, you cannot, climb on a high horse and look down on other people. So let's rule that one out, because it might be only a matter of time, and God forbid, that your child will also be now getting involved or influenced. So it's going to be important that as men, especially men, the fathers, I know what I'm about to say might sound a little bit controversial coming from someone who is an ordained minister of the word as a pastor, that, you know, fathers, irrespective of whether they are married or not, I think fathers need to play a role in their children's lives, especially the boy child. Fathers need to play a role in the lives of their children. We need to play a role. We cannot outsource the father parenting. I hope my English is correct. We cannot outsource the father parenting of boys to somebody else. We can't leave it to pastors. We can't leave it to mothers only. We can't leave it to the uncles only, the grandparents only. We can't leave it to the school teachers. I think all men out there, we need to start taking our role as fathers a little bit more serious, irrespective of whether you are a stepfather, uncle father, a big brother father, principal father, school teacher father, pastor father, whatever role that God has placed you in. You are an imam who's playing a role of a father in somebody's life. You are a priest. It doesn't matter. I just think we all men who have reached a stage where we can be fathers, we need to take this role of being fathers a little bit more serious, because I am convinced that it doesn't necessarily even have to be the biological father who must father the children, but as the African saying says, that a child is raised by a village. So which means if we want to deal with this problem of young boys growing up without direction, because I'm not a psychologist, but I can't get over the thinking that a lot of these young people, one, they leave their homes because there is no, of course, proper, or let me put it this way, there's no effective, because I don't want to say proper, because proper sounds judgmental. There is no effective parenting over those children, which could be as a result of many reasons. There could be social, economic reasons, there could be issues of poverty, there could be issues of broken down families, there could be even, as someone said on social media, some of these children, they are children of children. So the parents had these children when they themselves were still young, so they don't even know how to raise a child, so we can't be judgmental. However, as we said last week when we had that conversation with Pastor Masangane and my brother Wandile, that, one of the things we're going to have to take a little bit more serious is that once you have a child, irrespective of whether you are young or old, once you have a child, make it your responsibility to learn how to be a parent. You may not have learned yourself how to be a parent, but do your best. Do your best as a father to be a parent on your son. Be there for your son. Try and show your son the right ways. The mistakes you made, teach your son to avoid them. The dangers of life that you have been exposed and survived. Your son does not have to be exposed and survive them. And this does not even mean that when you see your neighbor's child, or that there's that single mother down the road, who's got a son, you must not take responsibility for it. Because as a community, all the great men in our neighborhoods, the opas, the uncles, they also have a role to play. When I grew up, I learned jazz not from my family. My family, a lot of them, they like umpatanga, that type of music. But I learned and jazz as well, and jazz. I remember my grandmother's favorite album was Dollar Brand. Every weekend, they will, to a point where I could remember the songs that by heart, because there was Dollar Brand LP. They were still playing LP. But I learned more about jazz from the uncles in our neighborhood who used to wear those Flosham shoes that they were shiny. They were wearing very fancy clothes, you know. They were, you know, good-looking uncles in our neighborhood, you know, who will have jazz on Sunday afternoon after church, play jazz and get together, you know. So I learned more about jazz. Now listen, all men out there, I like to pose a challenge to all men that every man must take a responsibility of parenting a boy child. You may not necessarily do everything that the original father or the biological father would have done, but you as men, let's just accept that if we want to solve this problem, if we want at least to mitigate this problem, let us take it upon ourselves to do something as men. Let us play our role in helping the young boys grow up knowing that as young boys, to have fun on Fridays, Saturdays, and even Sundays, actually it is less valuable than spending more time studying or starting a side hustle on weekends and generate wealth. We need to tell our boys that instead of spending money you don't have, trying to drag yourself so that you can forget the pain, maybe of not having a father, the pain of coming from a poor family, the pain of maybe depression, the pain of anxiety, the pain of not having everything that you need, the pain of being bullied, the pain of being under peer pressure. We need to start bringing alternatives to drugs, alternatives to alcohol, alternatives to substance abuse, alternatives even to sex, because a lot of these young people, if they are unsupervised, drinking alcohol until they can't even remember their names, until early hours of the morning. I mean, there's something that there's the pain that these young boys are trying to deal with. They're trying to become masculine, but they probably don't know how to do it. So hence it becomes what some people call toxic masculinity. So why can't we men, grown-up men, take time to help our young boys become responsible young men? You know, these young boys, they are so creative and they've got so much energy. There is a lot that they can do. Because the sooner they start, the better. And if we empower young boys, it is an investment and security for us. Because there's going to come a time when we are not going to be able to do a lot of things. We want to get old. We want have power and authority anymore, let alone even influence in our communities. And these young boys will be adults. If they grow up the way they are growing up now, what kind of men, grown-up men, imagine these young boys in their 60s and 70s, how they're going to be like. Undereducated, unemployed, maybe having scars from getting drunk and being on drug abuse, being, you know, feeling inferior about themselves because they will not have achieved much in life by the time they reach 60, because they would have wasted, what, 20 years, 45 years, 60? Because if you start drinking and abusing drugs at 15, by the time you reach 60, you have already wasted 45 years. Do you know how much money you can make in 45 years? You know, in 45 years, you can become a millionaire. Young boys, I'm telling you out there, I'm telling you, you can make a lot of money in the next 20 years of your life, even without a university education. Yes, I've just said that. Yes, because some people, they think that because I can't go to university, therefore I don't have a future. Because I don't have connections to get a tender, then I don't have a future. Listen, if you can just take time and think creatively, look around, assess the situation in your community, see what are the needs, you will be shocked what ideas you might come up with. Ideas that over a long period of time, not overnight, I repeat, not overnight, over a long period of time, those ideas, they can actually make you a millionaire. Think about just to make an example, think about the founders of Sakum's restaurant in Joburg, how he started. He was just a young boy who grew up on the street, identified the need for tourists to have a good food in the township, started a business. Think about your life. Maybe some of you young boys may not know the older folks like Obabu Maponya. Mr. Maponya was just an ordinary guy working in a shop selling fabrics and clothes. And he started small. From there, over the years. After 40 years, he became a multimillionaire. Yes, it takes time to make money. Don't be misled by what you see, but you can be, the main thing this evening is that you also can be a multimillionaire. Yes, you can be a multimillionaire if you're going to spend time focusing on what you need to do. And some of you, you don't even have to be business people. Just by focusing on your studies, you can have a decent life later. You can have a life. Remember, why do we need money? Some people end up forgetting why. You don't need money to buy an expensive bottle of alcohol. You don't need money to buy the expensive drugs in the market. You don't need money to please women. You don't need money to buy an expensive car. No, this is not why you need to get a job or start a business and get money. The reason we need to get money so that you can have roof on top of your head, your own house. And that house, it does not have to be a mansion. You can have your own house, an ordinary house. It can be a 4-room house. It can be a 2-room house, but it's your house. It is your house. You built it yourself. You own it. It's not your parents' house. You need money to be able to put food in your stomach, to buy your own food. You need money to buy your own food. You need money to be able to put clothes on your back. Remember, I didn't say you need money to buy sushi. No, I didn't say you need money to buy Gucci, Louis Vuitton. You need money to buy food for the rest of your life. The food you eat must be coming out of the labor out of your own labor, your own work. Doesn't matter whether you are a teacher, whether you are a plumber, whether you're an electrician, or you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, or you are a taxi driver. It does not matter. It's your money. It's your money that is buying your own food, your own clothes, and you own your own house. The house you sleep in is yours, not your parents, not anybody. It's your house. That's why we need, when we say people must go to school, study, get a job, and make money, it's to serve that purpose. And of course, to start your own family. And you can't start a family if you don't have resources. So young men out there, I am challenging you this evening. Yes, we have a problem. We feel your pain. We understand you. But you also need to start taking yourselves very serious. You need to start taking yourselves very, very serious. You've got a future. You have it, and that future is yours. You may be living in your parents' house today. There's going to come a time when your parents will not be around. Yes, because they are getting old, you are getting old. There's going to come a time when your parents will not be around to buy you food. How are you going to be eating? There's going to come a time when your parents, your uncles will not be around to buy you clothes. What are you going to be wearing? There's going to come a time when there's no one who's going to be buying you food that you eat. You're going to be responsible for your own food. Where are you going to get that food? Think about that. There's going to come a time when you need to start your own family. How are you going to start your family without resources? Huh? How are you going to be be provide, because when you have children now, you must be able to provide shelter for them, clothes on their back, and food in their stomach. When they get sick, you must make sure they get the best healthcare they can get. How are you going to do that? If you are destroying your life by drugs, alcohol, you haven't even completed matric yet. You don't even have a temp job, you see. So why are you putting pressure on yourself? When I grew up some years ago, we had this young brother. I'm going to call him young brother. I was going to mention by name. He's very popular these days. He's popular, but I didn't get a chance to check with him before I came to the show if I could mention his name. But we have this young brother. He knows himself, and those who are from my neighborhood, they know him. He's one of the successful businessmen now in Durban. So this young man, he's younger than me. So when we grew up, he was one of those well-disciplined. Of course, his parents were not playing games with them. These parents, they insisted that their children will come home, wash clothes, clean, do homework, cook, etc. This young man never, when some of us, I must confess, yes, I'm a pastor, but I must speak the truth. Some of us, we were already experimenting with alcohol at a younger age, but not the way that some young folks are doing now. Yes, we were, as I've said, we were activists. We were very busy, spending a lot of time organizing things. And so we didn't have much time to go for entertainment. So this young man, he would always come from school and go home. And he will leave home, go to school and come back from school, go to soccer practice, maybe we'll go play soccer, and then he will go home. And he will go and play tennis, and he will go, yes, we did have people who were playing tennis in my township. Yes, we did. And this young man didn't get in the Bazom John. There was no trolling for him, And he was not a born-again Christian either. He was not a born-again Christian. He was from one of these missionary established churches, mainline churches, whatever you call them. And he was so straight and narrow, meaning he knew what he wanted in his life, to a point where everyone in the neighborhood knew that so and so, he knows what he wants. And people will ask him, why are you not jolling? Why are you not drinking? Why are you not smoking? He will tell them, I have a plan. I have a plan. And he will say, no, I have a plan. When I have my own job, I will start drinking. And he never drank throughout his high school. Even when he went to the university to study, he never drank. And he was studying at the university while staying at home. So he was in the township. And there was so much fun, especially post-1994, because no one was running around, so everyone was kind of relaxed. There was a lot of fun, temptations that, a lot of young men at his age, they were hooked up on fun and having fun. He was straight, he focused on his studies. He passed matric with exemption. He went to university, he used to get straight A's at university, he got bursaries, and he landed one of the best jobs any university graduate would wish for, especially with your first diploma, not even a degree, diploma. And today, that young man, after he started working, and I'm not promoting this, I'm not saying you should do the same, then he bought his own car, and then he started experimenting with alcohol there and there, wines. He started drinking wines. And then people laughed at him and said, now you are drinking. He said, yeah, like I said, 15 years ago, I will start doing these things when I know now I've got a job, I'm sorted. Now I'm experimenting, you see. And today, he is married with children, successful. He's got one of the best houses in Durban. He's got a nice job. In fact, he's very influential. He's one of the people who commands a lot of influence. Young boys out there, take it from this man this evening. Please stay focused. Don't let yourself be a victim of things that are not going to last. One of the motivational speakers, highly respected, world-renowned motivational speaker, Les Brown, once said that you need to do the things today that I may not be quoting him correctly, but he said something along the lines of, you need to do the things that other people are not willing to do today, so that in the future, you may have the things that others won't have. You need to do the things today that others are not willing to do, so that in the future, you will have things that others won't have. You need to do the things today that in the future, others will not have. I mean, you need to do the things today that others are not willing to do, so that in the future, you will have things that others won't have. I will get the proper quotation and I'll post it on the comment section so that you may see exactly what he said. But whatever he said, it is along the lines of, you need to be prepared, young men, to start working hard on yourself. You need to focus on your studies, focus on your health. Don't consume things that may compromise your health. No drugs, no alcohol. You need to start exercising. Build muscles while you are young, because there's going to come a time when you're going to need your body to carry you. And your body will not be able to carry you if you did not build the muscles while you are young. You need to start now, even if you are still in school studying, start building your wealth. Even if it means it's 100 Rand a month, start saving money, build wealth. Young boys build wealth. Young men build wealth. You need to start building wealth. You know, there are young boys out there who are already in business, entrepreneurs. They haven't even finished high school. They are already selling items, providing services, generating income, cutting grass for old gogos in the townships with the brush cutter, saving money, making juice, selling juices, making money. Some of them are running car washes on weekends, making money. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You need to start now. Don't go on TikTok and posting jokes. You're not going to eat jokes. I'm not saying you shouldn't post jokes. I'm not against those people who are on TikTok posting jokes, but think about it. How about going on TikTok, coming up with solutions, or looking for a business ideas? What can I do that can help me to generate income? Think about this. You need to, and it's not going to be easy. Young men, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work hard, but I can guarantee you it will pay dividends. It will, like I've said, even to generate wealth, within 10 years, you can be a millionaire, depending on how you structure your business, what needs you are meeting there, whether it's you're providing a service or you're selling goods. You just have to think, what is it that people need? Need to partner. Put this thing of racism aside. Put xenophobia aside. Yes, you may be a South African, but what if there's someone there who's not a South African, who's got a good business idea, who can help you promote your business? What if there is another white boy that let you go to school with, or a black boy that let you go to school with, who can partner with you so that you can do the business together? Remember, at the end of the day, this is all about ching-ching, eh? This is all about ching-ching. It's not about the color of the skin or even gender. So young boys out there, think out of the box. Don't let us adults influence you, selling you drugs, show you, mislead you by how we lead our lives. I know some of us are not good examples of the young boys. So young boys, you need to know what is important for your life. Think ahead. Think beyond a weekend. Think beyond a month. Think beyond a year. Think beyond all these things that are happening. Where are you going to be in 10 years, 15 years? Yes, your parents may have let you down. Your father may not have raised you. Your mother might have neglected you. I don't know. Yes, and I agree. And I'm very sympathetic with you. But what are you going to do about it? Yes. What are you going to do about it? Yes, your parents did not take care of you. Your parents were not able to provide. What are you going to do about it? And I'm not saying this because I don't know what it's like. I do. When I grew up, we were a bunch of young boys. I think we were about 14, 15. And that was the time of BMX bikes when young boys were into BMX bikes. All my friends, even the poor ones, they had bicycles except me, because I came from a family that was struggling. I did not have a BMX. I was the only one out of 15 that did not have a BMX. You see, and it was painful. I'm telling you, that pain I will never forget. It was so painful, very painful. So I understand the situation. I understand that your parents may not be able to buy you these fancy sneakers, right? They may not be able to buy you nice techies. You can't get Gucci jeans. Other children are getting Gucci jeans. You can't get all these other fancy things. I get you. I understand. I get you. But the question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, young men? Young men, you've got plenty of time ahead of you. Plenty of time. Remember, yes, you may get a Gucci belt or a nice fancy pair of jeans today. In 5 years' time, they will be worn out and torn. Think about that as well. But if you spend the next 5 years building your wealth, focusing on your studies, staying away from things that are going to destroy your life, you will be shocked at how much money you can make in 5 years. In 5 years, you'll be the one who's selling these things to other people. Think about this, young men. So young boys out there, young men, we say to all those young men who were massacred by Ubumnandi, we say, may their souls rest in peace, and may God comfort their parents and their families. But those of us who have survived, who are still around, who are not involved in these things, or you may be involved, you still have a chance to turn your life around. Be a little bit more responsible for your life. Take your life, make your life your own responsibility. Yeah? Yes. If I'm going to tell you how, from a Christian perspective, you can benefit from being a responsible young man. Develop a good relationship with God. Go to church. Because at the church, I know churches, they're not all the same, but a lot of churches, they've got men's ministries, they've got youth ministries. You can get involved, be part of those ministries. You can learn how to be a responsible young adult, right? You can see, you may not even have role models in your family, but in the church, you will find role models, people who may help you see that it's possible, it's doable. When I grew up, some of my teachers, they were my role models. Some of the elders in our church, they were my role models. I spoke about food earlier. I will never forget this, Mr. Mkwanas. There was this teacher who was a very well-dressed teacher, always spot on, good looking, He once said to us in class, he also came from a very poor background. His family, they were poor, they were in the rural area, blah, blah, cut a long story short. But he said one day he was so hungry that he passed by, in those days, they used to be called tea room. Now we call them coffee shops, tea room. So he passed by a store that was selling tea and small fast food. And they had food displayed there on the window, but he couldn't buy it. He was hungry. The food was there in front of him, but he did not have money to buy food. He said, right there, I told myself, I will do everything in my power to study and get a job one day. Even if I don't finish my studies, but I will get a job so that I can earn my own money, my own salary. Why? So that whenever I feel like buying anything I want, if I want to buy a fat cookie, I can just go and buy it. If I want to buy a cake, I can just go and buy a cake. I don't have to ask anyone for permission. He said that motivated him to study. I also never forgot that. That is why whenever I get a salary, one of the things that I do, I take my loved ones, we go out, we eat. Sometimes, even if they are not around, I go out on my own. Ever since I got a job, ever since I started working, I would always go and bless myself with my own money that I worked for. My brother, my son, my nephew, Bashana, listen, stay in school, focus. It may not be easy, but focus. It may be tough, but focus. Because one of these days, you're going to be able to buy your own food. You're going to be able to buy your own clothes. And not only that, you're going to be able to have, you will be sleeping on your bed, looking on the ceiling. And you will say to yourself, I paid for that ceiling. That's my ceiling. I paid even for the roof above the ceiling. My brother, my son, my nephew, Bashana, Matotana, I'm challenging you. Focus. It might take time, but focus. We have a problem, and you have a problem, and you are the only ones who can come up with the solutions to this problem. Parents are doing their best, and those who may have let you down, I'm not trying to cover up for them. I know some parents have not done their duties properly. They have let you down, but it's your life. It is your life. You need to take full responsibility for your life. Don't waste any time further. Don't waste your life away. Don't put yourself at unnecessary risk. Go out there. Think about how you're going to build wealth for yourself. I'm not going to lie to you. Forget about all these things that other people are saying. Think about how you're going to build wealth. That's all you need to survive in this world, plus God. You need wealth and God. Wealth and God. Go out there, build wealth for yourself and your future family. Stop wasting time on things that will destroy your life, on things that will not secure you with the future. You don't need guns, you don't need many girlfriends in order to be a respectable man. You are a man with your own resources. When you have your own resources, then you are the man. You are the man. Go out there and build the resources for yourselves. Don't let anyone mislead you. Take it from this old man here. You know, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Like I've said, we were active. Age 14, we were running around trying to transform and change the society, build this country. You can do better than we did. You have everything you need at your disposal. It may seem like you've got nothing, but whatever you have, you can use it to build a better future for yourself. Build a better future for yourself. We have a problem and the solution is with you. This problem it may have influence of poor parenting, racism, xenophobia, but at the end of the day, none of all those things will be enough or sufficient justification for you not being successful in life. Yes, you can't blame your parents, you can't blame racism, you can't blame foreigners, you can't blame anything else if you do not secure a better future for yourself. You have to, my friend, you have to. You have to do, whatever you do, it may not be perfect. You may not be a multimillionaire, but you can build a better future for yourself. What happened last week was tragic. It's something that should not have happened. It's something that could have been avoided. It was not, unfortunately, for those victims, but you can still escape. You can still escape, young men. Young men, you can escape. So, gentlemen, that's all I can share with you this evening. Let me bounce out. I've got other responsibilities, but all I wanted to share was that there will be more after the funerals. After the funerals, we're still going to talk more about the boy child. But for now, I thought let's not go too deep because, as you know, we are, the families there are still bereaved. They are still going through the pain. But after the funerals, we're gonna try and dig more. We wanna dig more on this problem. We can't. I'm afraid, no, we can't. We're gonna have to dig more. We have to dig more. Without blaming each other, we just need to find solutions. Otherwise, we're not going to have a better future. We need to find solutions so that this country, this nation can produce good men, good young men out there. And we have it on us. We have what it takes to do that. So we want to do that after the funerals. But for now, may the souls of our children rest in peace. May God comfort the families. They are in our thoughts and prayers during this time. And we are saying to all the other young men out there, please take responsibility for your lives. Think ahead. Think where you want to see yourself in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years from now. And whatever the dream you have, start working on it now. Start now working on it. And no one else is going to give you that dream except yourself. You are responsible for your life. Adios. God bless you. God bless all the men out there. Grow up and be responsible men. God bless. Until we meet again next week, Monday, next month, next week, Monday is going to be the beginning of July. So in July, we are focusing on men and mental health, So don't miss next week. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to be talking about the triggers of depression, anxiety, about how as a man, they lack self-esteem and how you can build self-esteem as a man. Don't miss next week for the month of July. It's going to be awesome. God bless you. For men only, God bless you. Cheers. Adios. Goodbye. Johnson, Salani, and K. Yes. All right. Goodbye, Instagram folks. Goodbye. See you next week. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube folks. We'll see each other next week. God bless you. God bless you. Yes.